Students, every morning, millions of people drink milk every day. So, how do this milk reaches us and reaches our homes every day? And what are some scientific methods involved by which we can increase this milk production? Today, let us explore dairy farming. Okay, so what is the meaning of dairy farming? Dairy farming is nothing but the the process of rearing or raising up or growing and managing dairy dairy cattle. So what do you mean by dairy cattle? Before we go into this, as we know, we are in the chapter of animal husbandry, and animal husbandry only deals with domestic animals, right? So domestic animals in dairy farming, you will come across of domestic cattle such as cows and buffaloes. Okay, cows and buffaloes. Okay, so what is the meaning of domestic cattle? Cattle which is used domestically, which are like domestic in nature, and which are of certain purpose, which are going to give us something. So actually, if we talk about domestic cattle, there are categories in that. What we call them as domestic cattle breeds. So there are of three types. The first one is called as milch breeds. Milch breeds. The second one is called as draught. Note the spelling, children. It's DRAUGHT. Okay, draught breeds. And third one is called as dual purpose dual purpose breeds. Okay, so what did we just learn? That in domestic cattle breeds there are of three types: milch breeds, draught breeds, and dual purpose breeds. So if we just look them at a closer angle, we can understand that the name milch is closely related to milk. MIL, just replace this CH with K. So milch breeds nothing but those breeds of domestic cattle which are going to produce milk. Clear, children? Talking about draught breeds are those breeds which are going to be served for the purpose of work. So those breeds which are going to help us by providing their service. And what service they are going to provide? They are meant for working. So such breeds are called as draught breeds, okay, whose main purpose is to work. Talking about dual purpose breeds, so the meaning of this word dual is nothing but double. Okay, double quality, or what we call as two. Okay, so this dual purpose breeds are nothing but two in one type. Like this is going to combine milch breeds plus draught breeds. So in dual purpose breeds you are going to find milch breeds plus draught breeds. In the sense, the cattle of this category is going to produce milk also, as well as it is going to be used for the work purpose as well. Let us see some examples of these types. Okay, so talking about the milch breeds, the first example is Gir and Sahiwal. These two are the Indian breeds which are going to help to produce good quantity and quality of milk. Talking about draught breeds, the examples include Amrit Mahal and Halikar. Okay, Amrit Mahal and Halikar. Talking about this dual purpose breeds, the examples include Haryana and Ongol. So in this, what is going to happen? The male Haryana is going to be used for draught purpose, whereas the female Haryana is going to produce milk. Okay, children, is this clear? So let's move ahead with the further topics. Feed of cattle, nothing but the simplest meaning is Food of cattle. As you know, children, every living organism needs food to get energy and to live a healthy life, to do all the activities of the life. It may be internal body activities, which we call as metabolic activities, along with that external activities also, internal as well as external activities. For both the activities of the body, we need food, because ultimately food is going to provide us energy, and with this energy only we are able to do all our activities, ultimately maintaining a healthy lifestyle, right? Okay, talking about food of cattle, the food of cattle is divided majorly into two components. First one is called as roughages. First one is roughage, and second one is called as concentrates. Okay, what is the meaning of roughages? Nothing but these are that food products or that food components which are rich in fibers. And what are concentrates? Concentrates are that substances which are rich in nutrients and which are rich in energy providing. Okay, so as we know, balanced diet is very important for the cattle, because ultimately it is going to impact their milk production. Clear, children? So if you are not providing balanced, sufficient diet for the cattle, then the milk production is going to decrease. Ultimately the cattle is going to become unhealthy. Clear, children? So the food of cattle plays a very important role in whatever you're expecting for, like if you're expecting the cattle for milk production, or if you're expecting the cattle for draught activities or whatsoever, the major basic amenity, the basic requirement is feed or the food. So let us move ahead with the next concept: prevention of cattle diseases. So if we want our cattle to be healthy and if we want to avoid diseases, then we have to follow certain tips or procedures or certain requirements. So the first and foremost thing is clean and hygienic sheds. So this means maintaining a clean shelter for the cattle. So whichever place the cattle stays, that place has to be clean and hygienic. It should not be dirty, because if the place is dirty, ultimately that is going to impact the health of the cattle may get affected with diseases. Talking about the second requirement is water. Cattle should be provided with drinking water clean drinking water, and every day the water has to be replaced. For example, if you are storing the water in a tank or in a small what we call container, or a container like tank, so in that what you should do is every day we have to clean the water. So ultimately we have to provide clean drinking water for cattle. The third requirement is feed. So what type of feed? Nutritious feed is very important for the cattle, containing both the components of roughages and concentrates. The next requirement is vaccination. So whenever required, vaccination is a must for the cattle. So vaccination against certain diseases is very important, because it is going to help them to avoid such diseases. Next is regular checkups. So the cattle has to be taken for regular veterinary checkups. So this is going to help us to analyze the health of the cattle if they are facing any kind of diseases. This also helps us to know something in advance. So regular checkup maintenance is very important. And the last requirement is isolation of sick animals. So if any animal, see, cattle are going to stay in a group, right, in a group under a shed. So if any animal is sick, at that time it is a prime responsibility that we have to separate this sick animal. So isolation, nothing but we have to keep the sick animals separate, alone. Okay, instead of clubbing or combining them in the group, we have to keep the sick animal away from the group. So hope these points are clear. These points are meant to prevent the cattle diseases. Let us talk about the major cattle diseases. Talking about common cattle diseases, the first one we have is foot and mouth disease, which is also represented as FMD as short form. So what are the symptoms of this disease? So the animal is going to suffer with fever. It is going to have the animal is going to have blisters in mouth. Okay, and then the animal will suffer with sores in feet. So can you relate? Sores in feet, foot; blisters in mouth. Okay, and along with that, difficulty in eating. These are the symptoms of foot and mouth disease. Talking about anthrax. So anthrax in cattle is a famous cattle disease, so in which the symptoms are famous in the sense it's a common disease. Okay, so majorly the cattle are going to get affected with anthrax. It's like common. Okay, so the symptoms include high fever, difficulty in breathing, and even sudden death in severe situations or in severe cases. Clear? Talking about third type, that is mastitis. So mastitis is a disease that is going to affect the udder. So what is udder? Udder is nothing but the milk bag of female animals. Okay, it is a pouch like structure in which the milk is produced and stored. Okay, so it is a milk producing organ in female animals. So this mastitis, it is going to affect the udder of the animal. The symptoms are swollen udder. The udder size is going to swell, and then pain in the udder, and even because of this, decreased milk production is going to happen. Okay, milk production is going to decrease. Talking about the fourth common disease, that is black quarter. Its short form, it is represented as BQ. Okay, black quarter. So the symptoms are swelling in muscles. Okay, the muscles of the animal get swelled. Okay, along with that, lameness. So what is the meaning of lameness? Lameness is nothing but difficulty in walking due to problem in legs, or due to pain in legs, or because of the legs also get swelled, and because of that the animal won't be able to walk freely, and there comes difficulty in walking, that we call as lameness. Hope it is clear. Follow the clever chalk to make your concepts spark. Thank you. Bye.